Greetings and salutations, Game of Thrones fans. We are Peter and Adam,
Hi.
here to interpret the formulae once more and bring you all the wisdom of the flames. Who are this week's biggest winners? The biggest losers? Was that actually Ghost? Am I seeing things, or has he been recast yet again?
But first, we do have a few questions from our loyal viewers. Our first question comes from HotBod69, who asks, what if two characters who currently appear to be separate, distinct characters end up being the same character? This is kind of a wild theory. And what we're going to do in that instance is we're not going to change any of the previous points. They will stay as awarded by the formulae. But we may need to combine that character for episodes after that, in the event that something like that were to happen.
And the second question we have for you this week comes to us from Darth Hot Pie 420, who asks, do I get bonus points if I leave my characters locked in all season long? Meaning, if you lock in a character in the first week, will you get bonus points for them in week 4 or 5 if you don't change that pick? No, you don't.
Nope. And that's all of the questions that we received. More on how to contact us later. And we are going to do a quick recap of how this works. We have 4 awards to give out. We have the Copper Penny, we have the Silver Stag, and we have the Gold Dragon, as well as the Nipples on a Breastplate award. And our first award, the Copper Penny, goes to Podrick, hung like a horse, Payne. The most notable thing that I can think of when I think about Podrick is, man, what a voice. He has a beautiful voice. And, I didn't catch a lot of the lyrics, but those were probably good too, maybe. We got more on that song later, I think, hopefully.
Yeah, that song has a lot of long, sort of far-reaching symbolism. More on that later. We saw him training in the yard. Normally when we see Podrick training in the yard, he is getting dunked on nonstop. But this week we saw him dunking on some chump nonstop. It's kind of cool to see his growth.
It's great to see some improvement coming out of him, because fighting Brienne nonstop and losing has got to get old. Not only for us as viewers, but for him. He needed a win here, and he finally got it. I'm kind of psyched for him. And, anyone who fights hard, they play hard too. And that guy, he went back. He was told only half a glass of wine. He drank it all. He drank the whole thing and more. The guy plays by his own rules. He's not going to be held down, tied down by anything. Gotta love the guy. He's hilarious. Got a great voice. He fights everyone. It's wonderful. Well deserving of our Copper Penny award.
It's really great to see him bloom this late into the season. He's a late bloomer, but boy, does he bloom well. Firing straight into our Silver Stag award, it'll come as no surprise that this week the formulae told us that Jorah, friendzone Mormont, would receive the Silver Stag. Few notable points from him this week. Number 1, stands up for Tyrion on Tyrion's behalf to Daenerys. Tyrion has been getting dunked on for about 3 seasons straight. And
more on that later.
Daenerys is not happy with him. First, he doesn't see through Cersei's plot, and then he sticks up for his brother Jaime at Jaime's deposition, and Daenerys thinks, hey, is this guy sabotaging me? And Jorah smoothly sails in and says, calm down, sweet Pete. Tyrion, he saved my neck, and he will save yours if you let him.
And people might think that what was going on with that conversation with Lyanna Mormont. And the first thing I thought is, I'm sure that Jorah was flying high, thinking, you know what, I just talked the queen into whatever I needed. I will just take down Lyanna Mormont, my cousin. And he does kind of get rocked in this conversation, but I appreciate the fact that he had the stones to go and, I guess, give him a piece of, give her a piece of his mind.
Yeah,
he got put in his place a little bit, and he needed that.
It's sort of like it sort of takes a big man to stand up to his cousin, who is now the head of the house, but it takes an even bigger man to sit back down when she asks him to.
And he did that. He was happy to sit down.
Yeah. And finally, we are thrilled that he finally received a +3 power sword from called Hearthstone, called Hearthstone, the Tarly family sword from Samwell Tarly. The only thing this guy was missing was a badass weapon, and now he's got one, and I can't wait to see what he's going to do with it.
It was a really touching moment, that whole thing between Jorah and Tarly. I loved the discussion of fathers and who's father to whom and all that stuff. It was great. Loved all of it. If you want a repeat of it, watch the episode again. Our next award is the Nipples on a Breastplate award, and that's going to go straight to Tyrion. I drink and I know things Lannister. This guy is, I gotta say, he probably hasn't been worth $9 million for a while. I don't know the last time he made a good decision that really panned out in his favor. And here we are. He's trying to testify on Jaime's behalf. He just gets immediately shut down by Daenerys right then and there. They don't want to hear it. She is pissed at him for being wrong, and she is not wrong for being pissed.
And it doesn't stop there. Right after the deposition, Dany calls him out again, dunks on him hard. She goes straight up in his face and says, "Hey, I made you my hand because I thought you were smart, but you're turning out to be a total piece of shit idiot. Was that a mistake for me to make you my hand? I don't know. You tell me." And Tyrion's like, I don't know. Maybe it was.
What's happened to this guy? Like, seriously, what has happened to him? You know, everyone talks about, we even hear Jorah talk about how he's super clever or whatever, and he's the smartest guy in all the land and everything like that. But where is it? Why, seasons ago, we would have had Tyrion Lannister on the forefront of trying to marry people together for alliances. Why does Sir Davos have to sit there and tell him to do that now, currently? Where's this guy's head? He hasn't had his head in the game for a long time. I hope he finds it. I really, really do, because this guy, he's letting a lot of people down, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, myself included. But on a more positive note, we are so thrilled to announce that the recipient of this week's Gold Dragon, Brienne the Beauty of Tarth. Wow.
I think you got her name wrong. It's Sir Brienne now.
Oh, my apologies. She is, if she ever hears this, she will. Actually, I was going to say she would kick my ass, but actually she wouldn't. She would probably just nicely point out that she's a knight now.
Yeah,
because she's got a certain decorum about her.
Absolutely.
First off, she comes out swinging. Everyone knows that Jaime's a great guy, and he's riding north now to do great things and help everybody out. No one believes him, justifiably so. I mean, he did kill Daenerys' dad, so I can see why she would be a little skeptical of him.
Yeah.
No one is sticking up for Jaime other than Tyrion, but no one trusts Tyrion because he's constantly getting dunked on. So then Brienne fires right in and says, "Hey, I was about to get raped by some crazy, weird Dreadfort dudes, and then Jaime pulls out some unbesmirched vocabulary and saves my ass." And you know what the consequence he faced for that? He lost a fucking hand, his sword hand. He basically sacrificed his whole persona for me.
So this may sound like we're talking about Jaime. No, this is Brienne's award. She did convince the world that he's a good guy, and it's through some of the experiences that we've really grown. How you can tell this is such a big moment for Brienne because of how honorable she's been this entire season. And she's a knight now, and not only that, she's enlisted. One of the best commanders in the Seven Kingdoms to be a part of her battalion. he only has one hand now. I don't know how useful the guy is going to be, but that's a good win. That's a good take. You would take that commander on any team anywhere. A really big win for Brienne's flank.
Yeah, and the way it's done is she puts Jaime in his place and says, "You will serve under me," and he says, "Yes, ma'am." And
That's word for word.
Later becomes "Yes, sir."
Yes, sir, ma'am.
And one thing we want to highlight is, so it's been a while since I read, if you haven't read A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, which are the Dunk and Egg short stories, they take place about 100 years before the events that we're currently seeing in the same world. So they follow Sir Duncan the Tall, who's confirmed to be an ancestor of Brienne. He's not actually a sir, though. He kind of pretends to be a knight. And if he knew that his like great granddaughter or whatever like rose up and became a knight when he could not, it's I don't have words. I just don't have words.
It's incredible. It was a really great feeling. That
first female knight in the Seven Kingdoms.
Absolutely. Well deserving of our gold dragon. Very exciting stuff. Great episode. Had a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to the next one. People are thinking there may be a battle. I don't really know. I hope we just spend all of our time at King's Landing just chilling with Qyburn or something. That sounds fun too. Just kicking it with Qyburn.
That's actually been rumored to be the name of the spin-off series that's going to debut next year. Kicking it with Qyburn.
With its first episode next week. Let's do a quick leaderboard checkup. Qutris with another incredibly strong week leads the pack, with Maddie with another equally huge week, keeping things interesting. Both Qutris and Sir Maddie got 21 points each. Incredible stuff. Big shout out to Lauren K, who bounced back from her challenging week one performance, actually tripled her points from week one, leaving her strongly within the hunt here. There's still a lot more episodes to go. I'm so excited to see what happens next.
Yeah, we're not even at the halfway mark yet, so there's still plenty of time for some exciting things. And to be honest, if I might editorialize a bit, we are a little bit surprised that the formulae have not shown us a performance higher than a 7 point. 8, 9, 10 point performances are certainly possible, and we're hoping to see one soon.
Low scoring games are usually a part of great defense, and I think that the producers and the show writers are just playing great defense on these scripts.
That's certainly that's a poetic way to put it. That's a euphemism if I've ever heard one. Well deserved. Finally, we'd love to hear from you. If you have any comments, questions, feedback, praise, that sort of thing. If you want to get in touch with us, simply purchase 1 liter of 100% all-natural maple syrup. Pour that syrup into a hole in your backyard. Nurture it until it grows into a mighty oak tree. Then chop that tree down for firewood. Light a fire with that firewood. Whisper your question into those flames, and we will hear it.
Thanks for listening. This has been a blast. We'll see you guys next week.
And don't forget to actually watch the next episode.
Nice.